chess is going through a very, very great period if you have to look at it from the Indian context. Because in the ongoing chess World Cup, we have seen that how three of them, potentially the fourth, can get Indian chess to great heights. Because remember, the Chess World Cup is part of the tedious qualifying process to determine who is going to be your new challenger for the world champion, who is Ding Liren at this point in time. Now, chess, if you have to look at it, these two youngsters, 18-year-old Ramesh Babu Pragnananda, 17-year-old D. Gukesh, then you've got the youngsters and one of the veterans, you may say, in Vidit Gujrati and also Arjun Ergyasi. Combined with Harika Dronavalli in the women's section, Indian chess is really heading into the upward curve. Now, because of the performances that is there in the Chess World Cup, we could see one or two Indians make it to the candidates of 2024. Now, you have to understand how the chess qualification process is. Most of the top players, in order to challenge the world champion, how do they go about it? They play 4 or 5 major tournaments to determine who is the challenger. One of them is the Chess World Cup. 8 players, after a tedious qualifying process, will play the candidates. The candidates, you can say, is the semi-final before the final of a major chess tournament. Now, why is India on the verge of creating history? Because 3 Indians, Pragnananda, Gukesh and Arjun Ergyasi, they are in the quarterfinals of the Chess World Cup. One of them is definitely going into the semi-final because Pragnananda and Ergyasi are facing each other. Then Gukesh, his path has become slightly complicated because he faces Magnus Carlsen. Now, a 4th Indian could come into the fray because today at 4:30 p.m. IST, the tiebreakers will happen between Vidit Gujrati and Jan Nepomniachtchi. Now, Vidit's path has become complicated because Nepomniachtchi is a world championship runner-up. And that is the reason why Gukesh and Vidit's chances have taken a slightly complicated route. But Pragnananda, Ergyasi, they could create history, and one among them potentially could qualify for Candidates 2024. Now remember, the winner of the candidates ensures that he gets to play Ding Liren. Now, how is the procedure that is there for the candidates? Because 8 players qualify for the candidates. Winner of candidates plays current world champion Ding Liren. Then Chess World Cup position plays a very important role. Because in this next slide, I'll tell you how the 8 spots are divided. Top 3 World Cup. So, whoever goes through to the final and whoever wins the 3rd place playoff ensure that they make the trip to the candidates. 2 in the Grand Swiss tournament. Now remember, that tournament will be held in the Isle of Man, and there 2 winners, top 2, the finalists, they make it to the candidates. Winner of the FIDE circuit. Now, whoever plays in the 5 tournaments on a consistent basis, whoever tops the FIDE leaderboard circuit, that one winner will go through to the candidates. Highest rating. Highest rating as of January 2024. After all the tournaments have been played until December 31, Jan 1 when the new calculations emerge, then at that point, whoever gets the highest rating, he's through. Carlsen could satisfy this one particular criteria. Now, loser of the 2023 World Championship gets an automatic entry into the candidates, and that is Jan Nepomniachtchi. Now, Jan Nepomniachtchi's position means that India are in a greater position to qualify, one of the 3 or 2 out of the 3 Indian Grandmasters, because Nepomniachtchi, if he wins the World Cup, then it throws an entire complicated spanner into the works, because If Jan Nepomniachtchi wins the World Cup, then the player finishing in the 4th spot will get the candidates post. So, if Gukesh, Vidit, Pragnananda, Ergyasi, if they manage to make it to the top 4, then they will go into the 4th spot and they will get entry into the candidates. Now, Nepomniachtchi has ensured that, okay, if he beats Vidit and if he beats the other opponents, then there will be a major problem. Carlsen versus Nepomniachtchi, or if that final happens, then you may see even 3 Indians enter into the fray, because Carlsen could anyway make it on the basis of the highest points that he has accumulated until December. So, if any top ranked player wins the Grand Swiss or the FIDE rating by January 2024, then the next player in the rating gets it. But remember, it is a very, very complicated situation, because if you look at the Grand Swiss Tour, lot of the Indian players are making it, but because the circuit leaderboard is such, the margins are very, very few. Remember, ELO ratings does not matter. The FIDE circuit leaderboard, it's calculated on the basis of, if you may say, the ICC World Test Championship, the percentage points accumulated. In the circuit leaderboard, this is the situation at this point. Now, how can 3 Indians make it into the fray? Gukesh beats Carlsen, Vidit beats Nepomniachtchi, and the other Azerbaijan Grandmaster who's there in Nijat Abbasov. If Vidit beats both of them, then either Prag and Ergyasi, they win their games. Then you could potentially see 3 Indians in the semi-final, and all 3 get a chance to go into the candidates. At best 2 or 3 Indians. 2 or 3 is a big number. And remember, already we have seen 3 Indians in the 7 spots that are there in the quarterfinals. 1 Indian, if he makes it, it will be half the field. So, it's a great achievement that is there. But if you have to look at the practical situation, it's a bit difficult, because Nepomniachtchi is a player of pedigree. Beating Vidit has to beat him in the tiebreakers, which is even more difficult. And as far as Gukesh is concerned, unfortunately, he has run into the Magnus Carlsen juggernaut. But remember, Carlsen also lost to a 17-year-old from Germany in the league stages, so he can be beaten. Pragnananda has beaten Carlsen 3 times. So there is a big possibility that all of this can work to ensure we have at least 2 Indians in the candidates. But one is a definite guarantee, because one of Arjun Ergyasi or Pragnananda is making it to the semi-finals, and in the 3rd, 4th place playoff, he will still be in the fray. Now remember, Vidit and Gukesh's chances have taken a big hit, because they are facing the major players in Carlsen and Nepomniachtchi. So, in a way, if they do not make it to the Chess World Cup 3rd and 4th place playoffs, many players are also playing, the same pool of players are also playing in the Grand Swiss tournament. And as I had mentioned, the FIDE circuit leaderboard, there is not much of a difference. 75 till 70, there are about 16 to 17 players with that small a margin. And remember, the current leader in the FIDE circuit is Anish Giri. Gukesh is also there. He's 0.5 percentage behind him. So, it is a very highly competitive, stacked up field, and that's why anybody who comes into the top 3 or top 4 in the Chess World Cup will get it. But it can be top 4 if Nepomniachtchi wins. So, in an odd twist of fate, you are hoping that Nepomniachtchi reaches the final at the expense of Vidit Gujarati. But remember, if Gukesh beats Carlsen and Vidit beats both the Abbasov and Nepomniachtchi, we are in for a situation where 2 or 3 Indians will definitely make it to the candidates. So, the candidates tournament is very, very important to determine who is your next world champion. And remember, apart from Vishwanathan Anand, no Indian has ever featured in the candidates. So, there is a lot of history riding here. Who knows? Pragnananda, Gukesh, Vidit, or Arjun Ergyasi, who can make it? Pragnananda looks to be the favorite at this point, so one hopes that all the results come into play. But if Gukesh can beat Carlsen, then it will absolutely rock the chess world, because Carlsen, He can reach the fire, he can challenge Ding Liren on 3 fronts. He can also win the Chess World Cup, or he can get the highest rating. That is the situation at this point in time. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live, and don't forget we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Thank you.